One of the main questions I get is how I sign players on my Moneyball rebuilds of Parma, of Copenhagen, wherever it may be. You guys want to know how I make my Moneyball signings. Now I have got a full video explaining exactly how Moneyball works and how you can implement it into your game. That video will be linked up there. So if you want to get all of the squad views, all of everything installed first using that video before you watch this, that will help you out massively, because then you can actually see how to get it in your game, and then how I go ahead and sign players is what I'm showing you today. Now the first thing that a lot of people bump into is that there is no one on their list, and that's because you're at the very start of the game. So here I've just loaded up our Parma save at the start before I've done absolutely anything, before I've made any signings or anything. The very first time you go into the game in 2023, there is literally no one to go and sign. We've got one player here at Broxledden, and that's because no one has got any stats. There is nothing in the game for you to go and find anyone. There is no stats from last year's in real life performances, which you can do. So you can only really do this from the end of season 1. So we're going to go right there first. And you can see the difference a year makes. We have loads of players that we can now go ahead and sign. Now, obviously, we are Parma, a Serie B side. We have just won the Serie B. So we're going up to the Serie A, but we are not a side that can get many players on the list. So even with us, there's 233 players here that we can potentially go ahead and scout, which we will be going ahead and doing today. Now, in terms of our search, this is all imported. That will all be in the video from the start of the video that I mentioned. So if you're struggling to find players to actually go and sign, watch that video. It will help you out. You'll get all the things imported and everything will be there. Now, the first thing I do myself is get the players in the list. I sort them by age. So I want all the youngest players at the top. I then scout all the players under 23 years of age every single time until full knowledge is acquired, and I will add them all to a list as well on the shortlist for 3 months. For me, I would always go ahead and try and sign younger players, whether they're 21, 20, they just have more value and are better than older players, regardless of Moneyball or not. It just makes more sense. Even if you are doing Moneyball, which I do, it makes more sense to sign the younger players than the older players. It's Football Manager. It's also just sense of money. You make more money by selling younger players. So if we can sign someone younger that is just as good as an older player, I'll be sure to go ahead and scout them. And they are now on the shortlist for the next 3 months. The first thing I do with this shortlist is then go through players that I know we can't afford. I've got £2 million. Anyone over 5 million, I'm never going to be able to bring in, regardless of who I sell. Remove them from the shortlist and ignore them. So these players already are going to go ahead and get scouted, which is exciting. We've got some players straight away onto the list. The next thing to do is to get everyone on this list onto an Excel spreadsheet. So you want to tick the top player, Control A. That will go ahead and select everyone, Control P, and that will print the web page, and it will save that as like Copenhagen, or not Copenhagen, Parma 1. Open that up, exactly what we've got here, and you'll come up with a lovely little word page here on the internet. If this hasn't worked in this way for you, it's because you haven't got the correct squad view, list view all set up. It needs to be the FM24 FMSS player search view for it to import correctly onto here, and when you Control A and Control C to copy it into your Excel spreadsheet, which let me just grab up is here, it will go perfectly into every single column. If you have the standard transfer view up, it won't copy the same and it will not work. So make sure you're on the correct views so everything works and getting it onto the spreadsheet, and they are all there, and ignore the top line. That's absolutely fine. You need to go over to the AK column, Control H, I believe it is, KM, and replace all. That's just a little thing you have to do to make sure it works. So make all the 233 replacements, or however many you have. You then have the percentiles table, which is what I use to sign players every single time. Now it's a case of finding who in your team is not going to be staying around for next season. So for this Parma side, first of all, is anyone going to be going and leaving? So the likes of Alessandro Shikati are interested. It's worth looking at centre backs, because so is Alessandro Del Prato. Wio Koulibaly is interested in leaving. Espanyol are interested. If we can get some money for him, he'll be going. So straight away, we're looking at centre back and a right wing back. Left wing back was Sagittarius, who played most games, so he is absolutely fine. A brand new left winger, because Benedziak didn't play fantastic last season, below a 7. I only sign players if they're above a 7. He's got 12 and got 4 assists, but making that next step up, he's not going to be good enough. In terms of centre back, still the Prato under a 7. He's wanted anyway. So certainly centre backs, certainly a right back, and certainly a left winger is the positions that we are looking for. So we'll look at centre backs up first. So we head to the spreadsheet and we have all our players imported as showed earlier on. I'm going to go and select all the centre backs on this position screen here. You click this little drop drop down arrow, click the select all so you have nothing selected, and go through and click anything that has DC in it, because that is a centre back. So every single one here will be ticked. That even has a potential of being a DC. Sometimes go around to the bottom as well, because there can be weird positions that go on there, and now you have just the centre backs filtered. Very fun. Sort it by average rating as well. So if you click this little drop down arrow, you can then click sort largest to smallest. You now have the best player as centre back at the top of your list, Peter Reindarsen from Norway. So we're going to go and find him on FM. Simply minimize your Excel spreadsheet. Remember his name, because the copy and pasting doesn't work. So it's Peter, you find him, and then R-E-I-N, Reindarsen. There he is for Sarpsborg. Now, he is a right back / right centre back, so he might not be very good, but he's certainly someone to go and scout. I go ahead, report, full scout report, add him to the shortlist for 3 months. He looks very good. I'm excited by him. His stats are way better than anyone else, so it's worth getting him scouted straight away. 7.38 is a ridiculous average rating. It's worth finding out why that is. Now, you need to also think about what sort of team you actually are. So if you're a ball-playing team, you're looking for a ball-playing centre-back. So we'll go to the passes completed section here, and you're looking for a ball-playing centre-back. Pontus Jansson, now he shouldn't be on this list. It's a little bit of a bug with this, so let me actually sort that out. First of all, if you've got ages there which you don't want in, the older players, tick them off. Sometimes it imports through older players as well on that squad list. I haven't figured out a way to fix it. I've attempted it, but it's not quite worked. 28 is absolutely fine, but anything older than that, we don't want. So you want to go ahead to the percentiles of passes completed and passes. So this guy here, 99th percentile of pass completed in 90, which is the top 1% in the world, and top 3 in pass completion. And that is Andre Solom Johansson from Canada. He is centre back for ODD, a 7.06 average rating. So let's find him in the game. Let me just check it's actually Andre. Oh, there's no way of me checking, which is very annoying. You know what? We'll go to ODD instead and show you how to find them in the team. So we'll go to OD in the Norwegian leagues, find the players. It was some geezer called Sondre, not Andre. See, this guy is a fantastic ball-playing centre-back. If that's what you're looking for, scout him, get him on the transfer, add him to the shortlist. 3 months. He could be exactly what we're looking for. We'll see if there's anyone else on this list as well. And obviously, we are currently just going through centre-backs, so this is helpful if you're looking for a centre-back, I suppose. This guy is 98 and 94. That's very good. I don't think there's anyone down this list which sort of reaches that level other than Sondra. So we'll have a look at him. Whoever this is going to be, it's Janisio Naisami from Cameroon at Lokomotiv Moscow. Now, we can see this guy's full name. So luckily, we can search him up. It's Jazino. And at Lokomotiv Moscow, exactly him. Fantastic strength in him, great headed, determination. Go and scout him and get him on the shortlist. This add him to the shortlist makes a massive difference as well. Only do 3 months, because then you can actually see next season when you go to do it again, there's no one on your list. Your whole scouting time is 3 months, and you'll be able to find out how good they are. What I also recommend you do is do it all on Monday, the 3rd of June. I found the first Monday of June to always be a very good point to, first of all, stop the simulation of my rebuilds every single time you notice, and the first Monday of June. And that's because everyone has all their league stats done. The leagues are all finished, well, the ones that you can really scout from anyway, and you can find loads of good players on this date, and pretty much everything resets from this point onwards. If you go to sometimes the 15th, maybe the Spanish league is reset, so you lose all them stats. Monday the 3rd, nothing is reset. It's a really good date to go to, so it's always Monday the 3rd as well, because it's the first Monday of June. I find that has to be just a very good date in general. That week there is always very, very good in doing all of this business. We'll next look at a right wing back, because that's the next position we are certainly interested in. So select all and unselect, so you clear any sort of selections you've got for this, and find yourself a brand new right wing back. This is sometimes a little bit more difficult because there's so many more to potentially go and click, so it might take a little bit longer to find a right wing back, but it is what it is. You'll get the gist of it. We're not going to look for any right backs. We are actually, just in case they can potentially do it, and we'll okay that. And again, just sort this by average rating, because it gets a little bit lost in itself. And that is that. So Peter Reinhardt is there again. We know that guy is more of a centre back, so we'll leave him there. This guy, however, is again so clear of 3rd place, so we'll go and scout him. Alexander Jensen from IF Bromgania in Sweden. So it's Alexander Jensen. We shall search him up. I hope this guy is helping you guys. I've got lots of questions about how I scout players and how I actually make the signings. This guy looks really good, and I've got a feeling I signed him eventually in this rebuild anyway. I don't even think it was from this team. It might have been, it might not have been. But the scout is in progress because he's under 22. So we've already gone ahead and scouted him because, like I said, anyone under 23, I'm quite interested in what they're doing anyway. What's also fun is with the WTCS skin 1.3, you can see how things are with a new analytics screen. I haven't used this too much in rebuilds just yet. I'm still getting my head around it. But you can see he's very good at non-penalty goals and shots. Dribbles are great. Possession lost is fairly good. Crosses wise, it isn't showing me, which is a bit annoying. We're looking maybe for wingers then because it's not really got a wingers one, which is a bit annoying. I don't know if you can change these stats. Like I said, I'm sort of getting used to how this all works. But if you know how this works, this can be very, very helpful for you as well. And you really don't even need the percentile spreadsheet because this is all done in percentiles anyway. So if you understand that, feel free to use that one. But Alex Jensen already on the shortlist, already being scouted, which is fantastic. I now want to look at, I don't know, what am I doing with my right wing backs? I'm looking for assists, I'm looking for crosses. So let's try and find crosses completed per 90, open play. This is what we're looking for here. You can see all of these ones, really, if we can keep going right, we have progressive passes and crosses completed, as well as defensive actions and tackles won. This is a really good view, so you can see absolutely everything. So this person in second place that we've just looked at, Jensen, is great on crosses completed and crosses per 90 as well. This guy in here, right, so his cross completion is very low, so we're not really interested in him because he can't cross the ball as much as he's good at it. This guy in here, he is very good at actually completing the crosses he makes. Cross completion from open play is very good. Defensive actions are fairly decent. And in terms of key passes, he is not great. I was looking at 99 thinking that was him. But he could be someone worth going ahead and scouting. He's got good crossing stats. His name is Eskil Eder from Lillestrøm. Again, this is what I do in every single video. I've completely forgotten that guy's name, even though I've just said it. Eskil Eder. There he is, look, from Lillestrøm. This guy can be a right back or a right centre mid, which is interesting. Again, scouting's in progress, he's under 22. Very, very helpful. You can keep an eye on the ages and do it that way. We'll look for someone just with crossing, just to get someone else on this list. There's not really anyone here with great crosses completed. This guy sort of stands out. We'll go with him. It is Lasse Sorensen from, is that Lincoln? Oh, I've clicked 0, that's an error. He is from Lincoln. Very interesting. Could be quite expensive, but worth looking at. Lasse Sorensen, it's going to be easier to go to Lincoln because of the accent in his name. So we'll head to Lincoln, not the striker from Vissel Kobe FM. Don't mug me off like that. Okay. Lasse Sorensen it is. If I can spell anything. This is going horrendously wrong. What even is happening at the moment? Lasse Sorensen from Lincoln. That would have been much easier, wouldn't it? This guy looks absolutely brilliant. He's absolutely smashed it at Lincoln in League One, granted, but he's done a very, very good season. Add him to the shortlist for 3 months. Now, the other position you guys are probably going to be very interested in signing is striker. It's not something I'm necessarily looking at in this, but I'll get some on the scout list for you. Again, select all, so you can start again position-wise and get anything that has potential of playing striker selected, so you can see all your options in here. Keep it going. There's another, and the actual striker version as well. Okay, that will sort it by average rating again. There we go. So for me, striker-wise, I'm looking at someone who smashes their XG. So where are we? Non-penalty XG. 96th percentile. Now also, you're looking at non-penalty goals versus the non-penalty XG. So this guy in here. So non-penalty goals versus... and the non-penalty XG is showing their goal scoring against the non-penalty XG is very, very high. So they might be having 10 XG, but scoring 15 goals. So they're outscoring their XG by very, very far. That guy is doing exactly that. He's in the top 90% of goals per 90, top 90% of non-penalty goals as well, is Ibrahima Colley. Now, this guy is probably going to be too expensive for us, but certainly worth going to scout. He's 24 years of age, so someone we could potentially bring in. So let's try and find him. Ibrahima Colley. There he is. Look at Young Boys. He's a winger / striker. Very fast, very good dribbling, decent determination. Composure isn't great. Potentially more of a winger. Now, obviously, the difficulty is you might find you only get wingers in this because you have to select them so they're the wingers and the strikers and everything involved. But that guy is smashing it up front or whatever he's doing absolutely brilliant at it. So is Marcus Ingvartsen. This guy is a natural striker. He's 28 years of age, so right on the edge of what we're looking to sign, but certainly someone to look at. Let's look for Marcus Ing and see if he comes up. There he is. Look, at Norwegian land. Great finishing, great dribbling, great flair and off the ball work as well. 6'2" and a cap for Denmark with an 100% goal ratio. Fantastic. Look at this guy. XG 10.08. Goals 18. Exactly what we're looking for. He outscores his XG by so much, and especially as a newly promoted side at Parma, he could be absolutely brilliant. Scout him, get him on the shortlist. For me, that is my shortlist done. I've scouted the players I potentially need in my team. I will now go ahead and go forward 3 weeks in terms of simulation. So let's go to the 24th. They should all be fully scouted and we should have a very good range of how they're doing. So I've gone 3 weeks ahead and we have got a lot of scout reports back, which is fantastic, but there is some players on this list that I'm very interested in, which haven't been fully scouted yet, like Marcus Ingartsen, Jew and Peter Reinhardtsen, the centre back we are looking at. So I'm going to go 2 weeks ahead again. There's absolutely no harm in doing this because you've got the full search list already on your Excel spreadsheet. One thing you will find if you go back to players and range now, there's 194 and the list has changed a little bit. So what you want to do is, because you've got your spreadsheet all already set up, which is brilliant, you don't need to worry about using this screen anymore. You are simply using the spreadsheet, which is why get everything on this that you potentially want. Don't just filter it by CDMs and right wingers, because that's what you might need at that current moment on the 3rd of June, because your star striker might end up getting poached and you need to go and find another one. So make sure on this list you have everyone you could potentially want on your spreadsheet so you do not lose the potential to sign them. But I'm going to go forward another couple of weeks and make sure the scouting is done. Lovely. So all of our scouting is pretty much done. We're on the 8th of July and we know we are looking for centre backs and right wing backs. So let's get into the shortlist. Obviously these are all players we are scouting and we are interested in, and check out these centre backs. So number 1 is Maxim Diashuk, and he is just a youngster which we scouted who didn't fit any of the criteria but is on the 21, so someone to certainly keep an eye out for. The number 1 man we were looking at is Jerzinho Nyamsi. Now this guy is very expensive but absolutely fantastic. 16 heading, great marking, great tackling, great strength, jumping reach and natural fitness, and he was found from Lokomotiv Moscow using the Moneyball Excel spreadsheet, but he's too expensive. He is consistent, he likes big matches, he would be absolutely brilliant, but it's too much money for this season. So it's someone to probably, you know what, add to the shortlist for the next, if we have to remove him and then add him again for the next year, because next season potentially is someone we'll be interested in, but for this year is going to be a step too expensive. So next down the list is Peter Reinhardtsen. Now we don't have all of this guy's stats done, so what I would do is I would probably put an offer for him because he is the next best player by quite some distance. Sondre Solomon Johansson doesn't look like he's going to cut the mustard. He does look quite good, but maybe is not quite that guy. He looks okay, but at 29 years of age, I think Peter is the better option. So he's obviously not fully scouted, but we are certainly interested. What I would do is head to your scouting assignments. Scout priorities in here, and I would make wherever he is, Peter Reinhardtsen, number 1 scout priority, and make sure that full knowledge is done before you sign him. But I would go ahead and put a bid on him right now. So first of all, ask agent about availability. We're looking at 300k to 3.1 million, occasional opportunities in the first team, and wage doesn't really matter, so we'll go ahead and try and sign him. Now Moneyball, you're looking to keep price as low as possible, so we'll start off at £500,000. They want 1.2, 1.1 and £100,000. So something I do try and do as well is get some installments in there that if they play well they'll reach. So after 50 league games that's already in there, maybe I'll give them £200,000. I'll drop this to 500k and make this 750 and make this 10%, make that as low as possible. £1.5 million, and that has been agreed. Maybe a little bit too expensive, but a very good centre back looking to come in. If his stats come in and they are not quite as it says they are, if they don't look as good as you think, then don't get him. It's as simple as that. He could be very good, he could be rubbish. We don't know too much about his stats yet. He fits all of the Moneyball criteria, but you do want to make sure his actual stats are very good as well. If he's not that guy, Aurelien Amendia. This guy looks absolutely brilliant. He's on the loan list from Frankfurt. I do say on the Moneyball approach, don't always look for loans, but this guy, you can probably make an offer on a loan. His optional future fee of 6.5 million, which if we stay up in the Serie A, as you know we did, we could easily afford. Wages are a little bit high. Try and get these down a little bit. They often don't really budge on these, to be honest, which is annoying. But, you know, it is what it is. 20k a week, a little bit expensive. We're not paying too much at the moment. That's quite a cheap loan fee. He could be a brilliant centre-back. So we'll get him in as well. Why not? Because that's 2 centre-backs there that are brilliant. If Reinhardsen comes back and he's brilliant and we don't need Armendia, just cancel it. It's fine. You can leave yourself a couple of options. The next one to look at is the right wing backs list. Now, number 1 on this list, obviously, is Reinhardsen. Of course it is. But Ede and Sorensen are both here, as well as is Alexander Jensen. So Eskil Ede is the guy we're looking at first. Now, his star ratings are going to be a little bit better than they actually are, because he can play in every single position on the pitch, other than DM somehow, which is very odd. But as a wing-back on support, this guy fit the bill in terms of crossing. Very good crossing, dribbling and first touch. Decent marking, determination, all of that business. He's consistent. He's 21 years of age, so will grow as well. Has been very good going forward, and 3 goals. Eskil Ede could be someone we're looking at. Lastly, Sorensen from Lincoln looks fantastic, but is way too expensive at 9.4 million, which is making that sort of recommendation from the scout go down a little bit. Determination, stamina, pace, all looks brilliant. Crossing, very similar to the other guy, but he's about £6 million more expensive. And Alexander Jensen, again, looks very good. 22 years of age, consistent, likes big matches. Looks like a decent standard right back. To be honest, in this position, I'd be going for Eskil Ede. He doesn't look fantastic, but he is the best that we have scouted and the best of the ones that we can get, really. So Eskil would be my man to come in at right back. I'd be on him, and striker-wise as well, just because we did do a little bit of striker scouting. Marcus Ingvarsson, way too expensive at £15 million. Oscar Sirius-Sirensen, I sign a lot because he is simply brilliant. Troy Parrott, 5.8, and Inju is 5.4 million. Now, for some reason, there is a winger that's not coming up that we did scout, which is Ibrahima Kohli. He's been transfer listed by Atalanta after his loan spell at Young Boys. Now, he was a backup at Young Boys, but his finishing was fantastic and he looked absolutely brilliant. So we sign him. Great determination, pace, finishing is not fantastic, but he's worth a risk. He outscores his XG and he looks very, very good. And even the World Cup African qualifying right now, a goal and 3 assists in 4 appearances and a 7.35 in the match engine. He's performing to a very high standard. £1.6 million, consistent, likes big matches, worth the risk. That is how I sign players for Moneyball. I get asked this question all the time. I hope this helps you in some way on how to find players in your Moneyball saves. If you have, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you next time.